Hi, I'm Geoff Tuttle. I work as a assistant lead in QA for Namco Bandai, and I'm going to be talking about Xenosaga III today. Xenosaga III is basically the culmination of the Xeno series, where it's the final of the trilogy, and it wraps up everything that we've been seeing in the first two games. It's actually pretty satisfying, I think, for fans, because it will answer all the questions that were raised in the first two, and at the same time it's going to be a great game. I mean, the RPG aspects of it are top-notch. Xenosaga is very well known for its cinematics. It's always been the key part of telling this incredibly complex and interesting story. So they continue that tradition in Xeno 3, and the cinematics are at an all-time high especially for the PlayStation 2. They look fantastic, and they get across the story points very, very well. I believe there's over 8 hours total in this one of combined cinematics and face events. So there's full motion video, but there's also dialogue scenes that aren't full motion, but still look just as great. So yeah, there's a ton of storytelling, but it's all very fun and done very well. Lots of great graphics going into that.
It's the beginning of this planet's nightmare.
Xeno 1, of course, was quite a long RPG. Most fans enjoyed this. The storytelling was so great, and all the battles and dungeons were really satisfying. Xeno 2 saw cutting back of that, and it was a shorter game up into the credits. Of course, there was more after the credits with Xeno 2, but as far as the main part of the game is concerned, it was definitely shorter. They've lengthened it again with Xeno 3, it's kind of a compromise. It's not quite as like, okay, now let's move on with it, but it's not over before things have been wrapped up and everyone's satisfied. So it's a good compromise in terms of length. There's tons of dungeons, tons of story, but it's not so overwhelming. Just as with Xeno 2, Xeno 3, if you have Xeno 2 clear save data, you unlock something special at the beginning. You actually get equipment for Xion right from the beginning. Well, so we see a return of the database from Xenosaga 1. This is a great resource, especially for people who might feel overwhelmed by the story. It's fairly complex. And also for those who maybe haven't played either of the first two games. Right away from the beginning, there's full, well-written summaries of Xeno 1 and 2 to refresh you and get you caught up with what's going on. But in addition to that, there's this enormous database that is constantly getting updated throughout the game. It's filled with an endless amount of information. Any question you have at any point in the story is answered there, so you'll never be want for an explanation. Another great thing that is back that was missing from Xeno 2 are the shops of money. So that's back in full force. You always have access to a shop somewhere, and you can buy all kinds of equipment and weapons for your characters and your ESs. We have a great new puzzle minigame called Hackox, and it's a lot of fun. It's great for people who love puzzle games, so that should be cool. Today we're seeing a lot more of the battle system. We're going more in depth with it, mostly focusing on the brake system, the new brake system that's in Episode 3. Episode 2 saw a button combination system with zones, so enemies had different zones that you had to focus on. That's all gone, and we've gotten something much more intuitive and hopefully fast-paced and fun to play with this brake system. So every character, all the enemies and your characters have a brake gauge that fills up as you get hit, and once it's filled, then you go into brake status, and this is very bad. You are immobilized for 2 turns, and your chances of taking a critical hit are much higher. So you can gain a significant advantage in battle if you get your enemies into break status, but you are at the same danger as your enemies. Also, one other thing that was kind of a complaint about Xeno 2 was the skill system for the characters. Everyone had a shared skill system, and some felt that this took away from the customization that was seen in Xeno 1 and is also fairly common among other RPGs. And they listened to that and gave us a great skill tree system for Xeno 3. Everyone has their own skills to choose from, and by the end of the game you have over 100 per character, so it really helps with the customization there. Xenosaga Episode 3, also Sprach Zarathustra, this fall 2006 for the PlayStation 2.